Hello friends, my name is Amit and welcome to Epic Coding. Our objective for this video is to know what is TypeScript and setting up a basic TypeScript project using Visual Studio Code. So let us know what is TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript that compiles to plain JavaScript. We know that every programming language ultimately converts to machine language that processor understands. Similarly, TypeScript converts to plain JavaScript. Now, in order to set up a basic TypeScript project, please ensure that Node.js is installed in your system. If not, then please visit this link to download the setup and install it, as we will be getting our first TypeScript project ready using Visual Studio Code. So ensure that the same is installed in your system. If not, then please visit this link to download the setup and install it. Next, open a command prompt with admin privileges preferred and install TypeScript globally using this command. So here we have opened a command prompt and we will install TypeScript using the command shown earlier on the slide. Now you can see that TypeScript is installing in our system. So let us wait for it to get installed. Now as TypeScript is installed, let's create a project directory for our project. Now let's move to the project directory and open Visual Studio Code in the current project directory. Now in this project directory, we will create a file named tsconfig.json. If you type co, then Visual Studio Code will give you IntelliSense. Hit tab and it will create an object with two properties, one for compiler options and the other for the excluded files and folders. The name here is self-explanatory. Compiler options are required by TypeScript compiler to compile our TypeScript files to JavaScript. The first and the only option that we see inside compiler options is module with value Commonjs. I have seen many developers around me who are confused with the term module in JavaScript. So let us understand what it is clearly. A module is anything which has its own scope. Let's create a file named index.js, and in this file create a variable called name with value Michael. As we know that it is a global variable, it means the variable is in the global scope. So if we have not declared any function inside any JavaScript file and declaring a variable, then it suggests that the variable resides in the global scope. Now if we create a function and declare the same variable name with a different value, then we know that this variable name is different from what we have declared in line 1, because the variable declared here has the local scope of the function getName. So there are several scope types in JavaScript, but there should be a standard about what to be considered as a module. Otherwise, the TypeScript compiler won't be able to compile TypeScript files. This is exactly the purpose of property module and its value Commonjs, as we are seeing here in line 3 of tsconfig.json file. So what is Commonjs? Commonjs is a module format which considers a file as a module, and we know by now that each module has its own scope. So each file, that is each module, will execute in its own scope. This also means that if we declare a variable in a file, then it won't be accessible to other files, as each file is a module and it has its own private scope. So suppose if we have another file called app.js and I want to use the variable declared in index.js. This variable called name with the value Michael. So how would I do that? Oh, we need to export it from index.js and import it in app.js. Let us see the syntax. In index.js, we need to add the keyword export before the variable declaration, and in app.js, we need to import the variable exported in index.js name like this. So this is the import syntax, which we will learn more about in the next video, in which I will explain in detail the different export and import forms. Now we have understood the module option. Let us take a look into the source map option. If the source map option is set to true, then this property tells TypeScript compiler to include source map files when converting TypeScript files to JavaScript. It will help us debugging, and we will see it in action later in this video series. Now besides this, there are some other options. For that, I have included the link in the description of this video. Please take a look into all those options. In Visual Studio Code, we have to configure a task runner for compilation of our TypeScript files. Now to configure a task runner, hit Ctrl+Shift+P and type task. Then select the first option, configure task runner. It will open a template, and from that template, select Typescript tsconfig.json. This will create a tasks.json file. If we would have TypeScript files in this project, then hitting Ctrl+Shift and B command will compile our TypeScript files to JavaScript files and create their corresponding map files also. So let us see it in action. Let us create a file called app.ts, and in this file we will export a constant named name with value Michael, and let us create another file index.ts, and in this file we will import the name which is exported in app.ts. You can see that we have not included any extension here because it is implicit as we are dealing with TypeScript files. The / here indicates that the file lives in the same directory as index.ts, and this is the import declaration syntax to import only one declared export from another file. Let us also console log it so we can see our output on command prompt. Now hit Ctrl+Shift+B, and this command will compile and converts your TypeScript files, and voila! You can see in the left pane that your TypeScript files have been successfully converted into corresponding JS files, and the source map has also been created. Now let us move to the command prompt and hit command node followed by the file name index.js and hit enter. And voila! You can see that our name has been successfully outputted, which we have imported from app.ts file to our index.ts files. So this concludes our objective for understanding what TypeScript is, setting up a basic project, and in this video we have also understood what is a module and how do we import and export from other modules. Now if this video has been informative to you, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it and like it, and see you in the next video.